world-class sports in North Alabama. The Huntsville Sports Commission brings elite tournaments, championships, and other exciting athletic events to our city. From youth leagues to national championships, we're driving tourism, boosting local business, and building a stronger, more active community. When you team up with us, we'll worry about the details so you don't have to. We do sports.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is upon us. It is another brand new week. And with that, we come to you live from Bill Penney Toyota Service Department here along University Drive. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Their doors just opened, 7 a.m. Cars rolling on in to get that service need. You can get your service Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., it's Bill Penney Toyota Service Department. 256-576-4977. That's how you can get a hold of us here on a Monday as we get you started. A lot of stuff happening since we last joined you. College baseball news and notes, plenty going on. The field in Omaha is 99.9% filled. We'll let you know why that 1% or where that 1% needs to come from. The NCAA and the House have a settlement. What does it mean for college athletics going forward? The Atlanta Braves continue to stumble and bumble their way down the NLE standings. What's going on in the ATL? We'll try to figure all that out and more on this Monday edition. But the field is 99.9% set for Omaha. And the SEC has just two teams going to the College World Series. And we previewed this one at length last week, Drew, and that is the Auburn-Coastal Carolina series. And the Auburn Tigers unable to get it done. We said it would be a very dangerous series for the Auburn Tigers because of how good Coastal was playing, and Coastal lived up to every bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not a Cinderella. They've won 23 games in a row. They've got the most wins of anybody in the country. I thought it had a really good chance to go 3 games. And honestly, after the rain delay and Auburn came back from, a 6-2 deficit to tie it at 6, I really thought they had a great shot to win it. But Coastal does what they do, and they make plays when they have to. They don't make a lot of mistakes that are self-inflicted. They make you beat them. And to be quite frank, once they pulled out that game 7-6 with a late home run, I just thought they were the better ball club the second game. I thought they just outpitched Auburn. Auburn had some opportunities, but they just couldn't cash in. So you know how cruel baseball is. We had Bub Terrell on last week, and he was unconscious in the regional at Plainsman's Park. He was not unconscious in the Super. He kind of came back down to earth, and then Auburn got Ike Irish up, with a chance to do some damage and potentially, tie the game. But he ended up being the last out. He grounded out to shortstop. Tough way for him to very likely end his Auburn career because he's going to be a first or a second round draft pick. He's had a hell of a career there. You can almost say he may be on the Mount Rushmore of Auburn, but it was a tough way to end it. I mean, they had great crowds there, great energy, but Coastal, they're kind of made for this. I know they haven't made the College World Series since winning it all until now, but again, they're a special program. They're just, in college baseball especially, we've already talked about how the mid-majors have a much better shot to compete in college baseball than they do in basketball and to some degree, and especially football. But Coastal, they're just, they're legit. And Gary Gilmore started it. Kevin Schnall has done a great job of taking that, the baton in his first year. And this is a really good ball club that has a chance to do some damage. And I'll be blunt, they shouldn't have been a 13 seed.
No, that's the thing. The NCAA kind of underseeded them in this whole
because
process.
Their RPI was 3, if I remember correctly.
It was.
I mean, they deserved a top 8 seed, and they should have been hosting both rounds. But because it's Coastal Carolina and they're in the Sun Belt, they allowed them to host the first round, but then they ambush them and ambush Auburn, and they have to host somebody like that. So it's a tough way to end it for the Tigers. They had one hell of a season. We'll talk to Bryan Mathews in the second hour about it, and they've got a bright future because they've got a really talented freshman class. It's going to be sophomores. Now they're going to have to.
They loaded up over the weekend with transfer portal guys.
Yeah, they got some commitments and. Including a big time shortstop addition. So we will see, but and pretty much everybody in the SEC is going to be aggressive and have a kind of a leg up with the portal. But again, you got to give Coastal Carolina a lot of credit. And then the funny thing is, though, we know LSU and Arkansas got through, and it was a great day in America to watch Tennessee disintegrate and get absolutely shellacked yesterday. And last I saw, I didn't see the end of the game because it was already 7-1. But when the Hogs hit the grand slam, I knew that the Vols were in big trouble. And the Vols had a good year.
11-4 that final from Fayetteville yesterday.
But I did not think that they were one of the the best 8 teams in the country for much of the year, even though they're very talented. But again, when you're the national champion, you get everybody's best shot. So we're going to have a new national champion. But certainly the overriding theme is we've got one game left, as you said. There's only one series that didn't conclude, and we'll have a game tonight to decide the final participant in Omaha.
Duke and Murray State will play at 6:00 tonight. They're at the Durham Regional.
Yeah, it's in Durham, North Carolina. And the crazy part is that Murray State's a 4 seed, and they've been on a heater, and they won in Oxford, Mississippi, and they dropped a tough one. The first ball game, I think it was 7-4, and yet they come back with a vengeance yesterday afternoon. And
19-9, the final in game 2 of that one, Murray State over Duke.
It was kind of crazy because it was 5-0 basically. Murray State came out racking, and then Duke cut it to 5-3, and then extended it to 10-3. Then Duke came back, cut it to 10-8, and then Murray State finally landed the last of the haymakers and got up 19-8, and then just was able to cruise on home. But that's going to be a really interesting final to see who has enough pitching left. But I know this: Murray State can absolutely hit the baseball, and that's how they won the Oxford Regional, and they certainly are going to be very capable. And if Murray State does upset Duke and go to their first ever College World Series, everybody hemmed and hawed and talked about how the SEC is having an off year. They're not
only 2 teams to the College World Series.
Get their usual 4 or 5, but I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that they would still have the most because the ACC did get a team through, Louisville,
right?
But they haven't gotten a second team through because North Carolina Heimlicked and blew a late lead against Arizona and lost 4-3. And then Florida State lost a slugfest last night, 14-10.
Yeah.
So they did not get through. So
the Big Ten actually has a team go into the College World Series. First time in a long time that the Big Ten has gotten a team there. However, it's not your traditional Big Ten team. It's UCLA getting there. So, I mean, take that for what you will.
I'm just going to start calling them the Pac-10. That's a Pac-10 team, so they're just stuck in
But Oregon State, you forget how good Oregon State is in college baseball because of everything that goes on with Oregon State not being in the Pac-12 anymore, kind of being a independent, so to speak. That you forget that Oregon State has gotten to Corval or has gotten to Omaha several times as a program. They've won this whole thing, and they find a way somehow to get back to Omaha. Thanks to dropping Florida State in a football style type of game yesterday, 14-10, the final. That was a game 3. That one went 3 games, but Oregon State at home at the Corvallis Regional. They get through and they are back to Omaha, and it's kind of amazing to watch them get through because they are really, I mean, they're a team without a conference in college baseball.
Well, they are, but here's the thing that they also you can say about them. They know how to win.
Yeah.
They were the home team, and Florida State could have easily swept that regional, but they blew a late lead in the ninth inning and lost in extras to Oregon State in game one. As Link Jarrett said, that was probably as tough a pill to swallow as any. So Florida State could have, easily won the series. They won game 2, 3-1 in a pitcher's duel. And like you said, yesterday's devolved into just a slugfest. Now, Oregon State built a 14-4 lead, and Florida State just kind of ran out of gas, kept pushing, got to within 14-10, but couldn't get over the hump. But again, I do enjoy a lot of the Midwest and just national journalists who are just getting ready to tweet that the SEC is so disappointing. And
well, they did,
and it was disappointing.
They did tweet over the weekend that it was very disappointing.
They've got 2 teams. Nobody else has if Duke can't win. So if they still end up with the most teams, and by the way, Scott, who won the softball World Series again?
That would be the SEC.
Texas.
Yes.
They won a slugfest in the final, which quite frankly surprised me as far as that it devolved into that, because with the pitching that Texas Tech has got and the dominant starting pitcher,
yes,
I would have thought you're going to have a 2-1, 3-2 type game. And she didn't get it. I think she got out. I think she pitched 1 inning. And so she gave up 5 runs. And so the $1 million arm didn't deliver, and Texas knocked her out and basically cruised to a 10-4 win in their first championship. So they did win a national title in year 1 in the SEC and something. And so the SEC, even though there was people talking about how disappointed they were in the SEC, even though I think the SEC had 5 teams of the 8 in Oklahoma City, and the SEC won the championship. So there's really not a whole lot you can say about softball, and they were getting ready to try to say something. Well, wrong again. And so we'll see what happens in college baseball. Now, is it wide open in Omaha? I think it is. I think now if Murray State gets there, I don't know that I could say Murray State is going to win the World Series, but could they win a game or maybe 2? I'm not going to say no.
Well, remember, we thought the same thing.
Already.
We thought the same. I mean, there were a lot of people that felt that same way when Coastal Carolina got there a few years ago and won the national title. It was like they were good, but did you really believe that a team like Coastal Carolina could go on and win the national championship? So, I mean, that's why you
shocked by that, only because the way college baseball is built and has been built for years, because we all know that like a school like Cal State Fullerton in every other sport doesn't compete for national championships. Right. But Augie Garrido has won multiple ones there before he went to Texas. So they're a quote unquote mid-major athletic department. And yet they always played high major baseball. Okay. And I think the same thing can be said about Coastal, because Coastal had made it before. We'd all seen Coastal be good. And then I remember 2008, and we all know Aaron Judge is a Fresno State graduate. Okay. He played college baseball there. Every other sport, Fresno State is not a program that competes for national titles. But in baseball, they've been to Omaha multiple times. I've seen them get there. In that 2008 year, they were a 4 seed. And a lot of reasons they was because of injury.
Right.
Those guys got healthy, and they flat just outplayed everybody and won the national championship. So that's the thing that's the coolest about college baseball is, even though you're a quote unquote mid-major athletic department, right? If you have the right coach, if you have the right commitment, you can still beat the big boys. And if I'll just say it, I'm not trying to disrespect Murray State saying they won't win the College World Series, but if they win today, I am not going to be shocked. And if they get to Omaha for the first time ever, they would have certainly earned it. And you're going to have to beat them. They're very dangerous. They can swing the bats. And it just goes to show you, and you mentioned the settlement at the start of the show, that it's not, but as far as NIL goes, it certainly gives you a leg up in baseball, but it doesn't guarantee you anything.
Right.
I mean, and we've seen that with how these playoffs have and these regionals and super regionals have played out.
All right, so that's your college baseball update. Again, the College World Series field 99.9% filled. We just got the Murray State Duke game.
Yeah.
That'll happen later this evening to fill the field. And I tell you what, there is nobody happier that LSU is coming than the old Jello shot people. There is Roscoe's, I believe, what is it? Is it Roscoe's or whatever? The Jello shop people there in Omaha. They could not be any happier that the LSU fan base is coming back to Omaha. All right, we got to get a break in. When we come back, the Atlanta Braves, baffling moves over the weekend, I guess you could say. Don't know what to say about it all, but we'll try to figure it out.
They suck.
Up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, 7:19 on a Monday morning. Welcome back in. 70 degrees currently here in the Tennessee Valley. Your high today is only 79 degrees.
A little milder.
Yeah, should be a fantastic.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah, well,
Friday and Saturday was hot. Thursday and Friday was hot in Tuscaloosa as well. I mean, it already felt like the summer.
Well,
even though we got rain. I mean,
Saturday morning was humid early, about 6:15 Saturday morning. It was humid outside.
Man. There's that little, they do this. It happens in the summer. You get those just pop up thunderstorms.
Yeah.
And it blew stuff over. Like I had a friend. She had it, and then a couple friends. Roger Myers in Tuscaloosa, and then I had another friend. She had a tree. She came home and a tree got blown down, I guess, when that pop-up storm went through and knocked her fence down. And then Roger Myers, he'd been out of town at a wedding in Georgia, I guess, and he came home to a tree on his roof.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy cow.
Crazy. Well, if you need it, Talon Heating and Air can help you if you don't want to be hot on the inside. Look, they're doing some work for us now, too, because we had some stuff happen at the station over the weekend at the tower.
Oh,
no, the tower. So Talent Heating and Air putting their talent to work for us.
Maybe they can fix Yellow Submarine too. That roof is
256-503-4490. If you need to give the good old boys from Talent Heating and Air a call, give them a call.
I saw a little water last time I was over there, so I didn't know for sure, because I believe the last time I was over there was Wednesday, because it was going Thursday and Friday. We were over there, and Huntsville High played well over in Tuscaloosa. It was a good team camp. But yeah, we need to Talent Heating and Air. Got to fix that, and got to get somebody got to fix the Yellow Submarine. Well, that's Fleming Roofing and Restoration, I guess. You will be away from us tomorrow. Tokyo, a.k.a. Steve Moulton, will be sitting in tomorrow morning. Going to Hoover tomorrow morning, and an early rise to Hoover for not an overnight, just a play date, and looking forward to some more hoops. And then Thursday and Friday, going to be going to Auburn, whose team camp is a solid, rock-hard sellout. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine you go to the Final Four and have the best team in school history, and all of a sudden your team camp is sold out. Just a shock. Yeah. I know Whitesburg Christian was also there at Tuscaloosa over the weekend. Patrick Harding and company were over there. Saw them. Got a chance to see them play just a little bit in the practice facility. So, and it was kind of a yo-yo. We were going from the practice facility in Coleman, which is attached, and then having to drive a couple streets down to the rec center, because they were also doing ball games in the rec in Huntsville. And we were loaded. It was packed, and we had the Huntsville took their JV, their freshman, and their varsity. And the JV and the varsity for the most part, the JV and the freshman for the most part were in the rec center, even though our last game of the camp, our freshmen got a chance to play in the practice facility. But it was one of those things. It was a 2-day trip, Scott, and only a one night, overnight. But it felt like 4 or 5 days. It was just a lot of basketball, packed into 2 days. And certainly it was a really good trip, but it was a long one. A little summer basketball. Hey, don't forget, 1 week from tonight. Right. 1 week from tonight, we will converge inside Mars Music Hall. The 3rd annual Rocket City Awards, presented by Woody Anderson Ford and the Huntsville Sports Commission and everybody else that has joined on board with that to help make it happen. And I mean, we could not do it without all of the support that we have from everybody helping make this an event exactly what it is, an event. Make sure you stay with us. Big thank you to WH&T, as they will once again provide a live stream for the event on WHNT.com. So you'll be able to watch it at home if you are not there inside Mars Music Hall. You will be able to find out who will be the 2025 Rocket City Award High School Athlete of the Year on both our boys and girls side, who is going to be our high school team of the year
on our boys and girls side as well, and maybe and our coaches of the year. You'll be able to find out who our North Alabama college team of the year is on our women's and men's side, as well as our athlete of the year there. We've got all kinds of stuff, and one of the awards that we hand out is our professional athlete of the year, and this year the category is loaded with unbelievable talent. Last year, our 2024 Rocket City Award Professional Athlete of the Year was Craig Kimbrell, and we sent the trophy to him in Baltimore. He did the acceptance speech right from the Baltimore bullpen. It was really spectacular and cool. Well, over the weekend, Craig Kimbrell made a little bit of news because the Atlanta Braves, who are struggling and bumbling their way down the NL East standings, called up one Craig Kimbrell. He pitches one game, pitches one inning, scoreless inning, and then the Braves designate him for assignment.
Yeah, I think they're wanting to go younger with their bullpen, I guess. It was a little bit mystifying that it happened so quickly, especially considering that he pitched a scoreless inning. But this is just not a good Braves ball club right now. They're horrendous. I mean, let's just be honest. It's it's been a few years since they had a losing record. When they went 79-83, and I want to say that was in like 2019, maybe.
Right.
It's been a while, but this is just turning rapidly into a lost season for the Braves. It was another tough weekend in San Francisco. They just can't get over the hump. They're losing so many one-run ball games. It's just they're not getting dominated, but they can't get the big hit. They can't get the big out on the mound. The back end of the bullpen has been an unmitigated disaster. Raisel Iglesias basically has lost his job as the closer. He's been so bad. I mean, when you blow a 7-run lead the other day in the 9th inning, I was on the road, so I had no idea until I started getting messages that, they were up 7 going to the 9th, and they lose 11-10.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just like, you have got to be kidding me. It's just been so bad. And again, they've got guys that aren't swinging the bats like you would normally see. Acuna didn't come through for him in San Francisco. He had some opportunities up there at the plate. It's just a little bit of everything. I mean, it's just not gone their way so far. Now, baseball's funny. The tides can shift, but I mean,
they now have 2 streaks of losing 7 games in the same season for the first time since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time they were 10 games under 500, you got to go all the way back to 2017 for that. They've lost 10 straight 1-run games,
exactly,
including 5 straight during this current 7-game slide.
Yep. 5 in a row, man. They're right there. They just cannot make the big play. And it's just really difficult right now. And so I hated to see, Kimbrell get released. I was hoping he would get more of an opportunity to at least pitch in mid-relief because the bullpen's been so bad.
Or do it at home, maybe, if this is – because, I mean, there's a lot of speculation that was the last time he will pitch in the majors. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
And everything –
He's had a long career.
And everything that he did for Atlanta, with Atlanta, because that's where it all started, was with the Braves. And you do it on the road where it's kind of unceremonial. Why not just do that at home, at least in front of the home crowd, and just kind of at least be somewhat ceremonial about it, if that is indeed the last time he pitches in the majors?
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough way to go out if that's the case.
All right, 7:28, more on Atlanta and their slide here in a little bit. Who to blame? Is it Alex Anthopoulos? Is it Brian Snitker? We will fill you in more on that. But I tell you what, let's get a break in, because when we come back, Rodney Orr is on the other side. We're going to talk a little Alabama football recruiting, another busy weekend for the Tide as they rolled out the crimson carpet, so to speak, there inside Tuscaloosa. We'll explain.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, welcome back. 7:33 on a Monday morning. Oh, well, Elton John. Gosh, that doesn't just get you kind of ready to go for a new week. Nothing will. We're live from Bill Penney Toyota, hanging out in the service department. Their doors opened at 7 o'clock. I mean, we're literally just hanging out. If you walked in here right now and you saw us, it'd be like we were just sitting in our living room, just doing a show, just very casual, relaxed, and that's just how we do it. Speaking of casual and relaxed, I don't know if they were relaxed. I don't know if it was casual, but Alabama rolled out the so-called crimson carpet this weekend for several big-time guests on campus. It may be a slow time for a lot of college athletics right now, but it's not on the football recruiting side, as this is when you roll it all out. This is when you do the barbecues, you do the hosting events, and you bring in anybody and everybody.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's the month of June and late May into June, coming off the dead period, has become very, very important in recruiting.
Yes.
A lot of kids want to get their quote-unquote decision out of the way in the summer before their senior season, yet there's still a lot of work to do because of NIL and the transfer portal. You have to work to hold on to these kids. But Alabama does it a certain way with Kalen DeBoer and especially Courtney Morgan, the general manager. They had a lot of success last year. Only Ty Haywood of the young men that got committed early did not sign. We all know he ended up at Michigan, but they're trying to get a majority of the hay in the barn once again in early, and we're going to talk about that coming off of the second big recruiting weekend with the best source there is since 1996. He is the publisher of TiderInsider.com, and that would be Rodney Orr, who is going to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Rodney, you're with Drew and Scott yet again. I know you got some storms down there in Tuscaloosa. Is everything all right?
Yeah, I mean, it's, we've obviously had a lot of rain here the last month or so. And it's,
oh, yeah.
It cleared up yesterday really nicely in the afternoon, but I mean, it came a deluge late last night and this morning. So anyway, yeah, it's, hopefully we'll move past this.
Yeah, I was just saying to start the show, Scott and I were kind of going over college baseball, and everybody knows Roger Myers is a huge baseball supporter at Alabama, and he was out of town for part of the weekend and came back with a tree on his roof. So, we had some flash thunderstorms up here as well that they can do some quick damage you're not expecting. But speaking of quick, Alabama, another good weekend. Especially, it looks like they're laying the foundation for what could be a good offensive line class, Rodney.
Well, it looks like that certainly that's a possibility. I mean, I think that watch out possibly today, Drew, Scott, for a commitment potentially today. Sam Atu from Orange, California, 6'4", about 320, 330. Could play guard, could play tackle. A lot of people think he'll ultimately end up a guard, but he's an outstanding player. Like I said, out of the state of California, Georgia, Texas, a lot of the top programs have been involved with him. There was a point where, actually coming into this weekend, a lot of people thought he was leaning to Washington. But I think that whether it's today or sometime soon, whenever, I think that you're going to see Sam Atu commit to Alabama. And I know he has some upcoming visits. I think there's a pretty good chance those will be canceled.
Looks like the tight end spot is a priority as well. 5-star Caden Prothro on campus this weekend, and he seems to be a big priority, Rodney.
Well, I mean, he's extraordinarily talented. He really is. He's very athletic. I mean, he's got the size, the frame to fill out all of those things that you look for. He would be a nice fit in this offense. And again, he's from Bowden, Georgia. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. I mean, obviously Georgia has made him into top priority, especially since the 5-star Mark Bowman out of California, who they really were going after. They thought he was Brock Bowers 2.0. Since he committed to USC, and again, we know these commitments may not hold up, but he's committed to USC, and that kind of made Prothro even a higher priority, I think, for Georgia. So it's really going to be interesting to see. Alabama's done well against Georgia in the state of Georgia over the last several years at times. So I mean, certainly it's a possibility. If you ask me, who would you favor? You'd probably have to go with Georgia, but at the same time, Alabama's certainly in the mix there, and I think it'll probably be one of those two. Although Auburn's been in there and some other schools as well.
Yeah, and I will say this too, and you and I have spoken about it, but ever since Mo Lindquist got here, and then of course with some big assists from Courtney Morgan and the relationships he has, on the West Coast and really just throughout recruiting, they've done just a bang up job of recruiting defensive backs. They've already got Jordan Edmonds, who's a 5-star from the Marietta, Georgia area, and you just mentioned it, Alabama having some success in the state of Georgia, even going head up with the Bulldogs. They got him committed, and they've been, and a lot of these guys, he was on his visit this weekend. I know he was there helping recruit, and they really, I know we talked about Jet Washington last week, but they've had a pretty good pipeline from St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, and a big time safety was there this weekend, and sounds like that visit went really well.
Yeah, Jaira Edwards, one of the top 2 or 3 safeties in the country, coming on the heels of Jet Washington, another top safety from Las Vegas who visited last week. But yeah, Jaira came in. It was seems like it was a great visit. I know that Jordan Edmonds did a really good job of, working with him and during this this visit. They both were visiting this weekend. So, I mean, again, he's very highly recruited. Texas, you name it, everyone's after him. Georgia's been in the mix. Auburn's been in the mix. He actually visited Auburn, I think, last weekend. He's got some other visits coming up. But again, we'll see what happens. But I really like the way that visit went based on the people we spoke to. I think that Alabama's in really, really good position. Could be tough to beat there. He's supposed to announce on July 5th. Now, whether he'll bump that up, I'm not really sure, but there's some chatter about that, but we'll see.
You mentioned the word commit, and once these guys commit, you kind of hold your breath now just because of the landscape of college athletics. But Kamarian Johnson, and a lot of people from here in North Alabama kind of keeping an eye on him just because he is from Muscle Shoals. He's a
defensive lineman.
He's a defensive lineman committed, Rodney, but he was on campus. That's a good sign. He was on campus this past weekend.
Right. He's a guy that you look at him and you can see the developmental potential that he has as a defensive lineman. Obviously, a lot of schools have been interested in him as well. And I think he had some upcoming visits set, one to Auburn that I'm not really sure if he's going to take. And then I think even Miami's been coming after him to some extent. So, we'll see what happens there. But I don't see it changing, to be honest with you. I think, Cam Johnson is probably locked in pretty well with Alabama.
Yeah, no question about it. And I know as far as kids that visited other places, one thing I did read this weekend, and he's a great friend of our show. We've had Keith Niebuhr, I don't know how many times over my 10 years here, but he's taken over the On3 Gator site, and he's the publisher there. And they were talking about Cedarian Morgan, Alabama's, I'd say, top wide receiver target, 6'5" young man, 5-star from Benjamin Russell High School. Went on a visit to Florida and then said they were 1 or 2. We know Alabama is also heavily involved there. But I would still think Alabama would be the favorite here. But Rodney, anything to be concerned about coming off the visit to Gainesville?
Well, I think anytime these guys are visiting, there certainly is potential for anything to happen. I mean, it's just kind of where we are now. The allegiances aren't what they used to be. But I do think Alabama's done an extremely good job of recruiting some of these in-state guys. Cedarian Morgan especially been a high priority. Like you said, he might be the number 1 or 2 wide receiver in the country. Obviously you knew he would have a great visit to Florida, and most of these visits do go extremely well. So I would think that when he visits Alabama here in the next week or two, he's got one coming up, that they'll do a really, really good job. And I know he's supposed to announce early July.
Yeah.
So to come out of a visit and for him to say they're number 1 or number 2, I think it's probably actually kind of positive for Alabama. So we'll see. But yes, certainly a high priority for Alabama, and you don't want to lose him.
And then, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention a young man. He spent the majority of his career here. His first 3 seasons, he was a Sparkman Senator, and we are the home for Sparkman football. But Bryan Mathews, big-time pass rusher, he has transferred to Gainesville, Georgia. And that's a 2-pronged deal because he's committed to Alabama. He was coming off a visit to Auburn, was in Tuscaloosa this weekend. He probably would be considered, I think, when he bulks up, a bandit. Like we've seen in Kane Womack's system, like LT Overton, but also he's got a teammate that was now a teammate over in Gainesville, Xavier Griffin, who's probably at the top of Alabama's linebacker board. But talk a little bit about both those guys. I know one's committed and they want to keep him that way, and then Xavier Griffin, since he's decommitted from USC. I know that he's been a huge priority for the Alabama staff.
Right. Bryan Mathews, again, like you said, he was up there near you guys at Madison Sparkman, then transferred over to Gainesville, Georgia, is where he's going to play this year. But, he was in on a visit. He's taken some other visits. I know I think he was at Auburn last weekend. So But right now, I mean, I would be kind of surprised if anything changed on his commitment. I think he's recruited for Alabama, certainly. So I think that's probably pretty solid as they go. And then I think, obviously Xavier Griffin is an incredible player. He's maybe the number one linebacker, depending on who you talk to. He's certainly one of the top 3 or 4 linebackers in the country out of the same high school there, originally from the state of Alabama, has a lot of ties to the state of Alabama. In fact, I think his grandfather actually works within a stone's throw of Bryant-Denny State. So a lot of connections here. I think they had a tremendous visit. I know that he had a great visit to Ohio State the week before. He's got Texas coming up. That'll be a real challenge, going to Austin. You never know what they'll throw at you out there. And then you've got, he's got a visit set for FSU as well, and he's going to announce on June 29th. So, we'll see. Alabama's kind of been the team that everyone's been kind of leaning to. I know that some have already projected into Alabama, and then some are saying, wait, this is not a done deal. So I know there's going to be a lot of speculation about Xavier Griffin over the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. But Alabama's done a great job. I think Christian Robinson, the outside linebackers coach, has done a tremendous job, not just with him, but overall.
And then with the quarterback spot, they had Jet Tamale visit last week. You came on, you told us, let's see if he reschedules an official visit. He was on campus unofficially. And then you told us about Matt Ponatowski from Moeller in Cincinnati. But baseball is a big thing with him also. And I know Bama and Oregon are among his leaders, but where do you think the quarterback situation is? Because I know they'd like to take one.
No, I think that's a great question. I mean, it's one of those things where you say, okay, it's just going to have to play out. I think when you look at Tamala out of Omaha, Nebraska, committed to Iowa State, he was there on an official visit this weekend. I think he's still kind of, if you want to say, considering the options there with Alabama and Iowa State. I think that's probably fair. We'll see what happens. I think if he were to flip, what we would see is he would just decommit from Iowa State and then flip to Alabama and then come on an official visit. That's kind of the way I think he's planning on doing it if he, follows through with that. Now, I do know that he's really impressed with Matt Campbell there at Iowa State, done a tremendous job. They've developed quarterbacks, got a nice offense. I think, he certainly is pretty loyal to that. But at the same time, that the opportunity at Alabama is weighing heavily on him. But with Matt Ponatowski, you're right. I mean, Gatorade had him the Ohio Player of the Year in football this year as a junior, but also the Player of the Year in baseball. He's incredible talent. Some people think next year he could be one of the top 25 baseball prospects in the country, which you know what that means. Right. Potentially a first-round draft pick, which could certainly be a strong consideration if you're Alabama when you're looking at, okay, who do we go with here? If you have two options. And again, the risk that Ponatowski could end up a pro baseball player, you might not know until a year from now exactly what his decision is. So, we'll see. If you're asking me to guess, I think, just common sense. Yeah. And again, I don't know. They know a lot more about what's going on with these players than we do. But the common sense would probably say if it comes down to it, you might lean Tamala because of the baseball, but we'll see.
Yeah, I know Ponatowski also met with Rob Vaughn and the baseball staff to gauge their interest. And of course, in the baseball program at Alabama is definitely going in the right direction. But before we let you go, there's one other prospect that kind of intrigues me because we all know, we already mentioned Sedarian Morgan being at the top of the wide receiver board, but Alabama didn't have a ton of wide receivers that, are seniors and or draft eligible. So they're probably not going to sign a large wide receiver group. They certainly would like to get Morgan, but one kid that I've been hearing a lot about that I know, that Alabama has been out to see in person, and they seem to really be taking a liking to him, is Brian Williams of Lake Mary, Florida. He's not one of the higher ranked guys, but this staff so far has done a good job of kind of evaluating. I know Florida really likes him too, but it sounds like he's somebody that the staff likes.
Had a good visit. You know, he's tall, he's big, he's 6'4", close to it. And I think it sounds like everything went extremely well. Again, Florida is a team that thinks they're very strongly in the mix as well. So, yeah, I mean, but you look at the receiver board at Alabama, and obviously you mentioned Cedarian Morgan. You mentioned, we mentioned last week Boobie Feaster, who came in from Texas, Ethan Boobie Feaster, who's a kid that reclassified from 27 to 26. I think he was at USC this weekend. Texas A&M's in there, LSU. And then, of course, Tristan Keys from over in Hattiesburg, who's a 5-star receiver committed to LSU, but that certainly looks like it could be iffy. He's supposed to visit Alabama here coming up the next week or so. And then you've got Kenny Darby from Bossier City, Louisiana, another extremely highly rated receiver. Again, committed to LSU, but visited Alabama last week and now says he'll make a final decision on July 4th. So Alabama's in the mix. And then there's the kid, kind of if you want to say the real sleeper, you mentioned Brian Williams, maybe not rated as highly. I think you're right, Drew. His rating to go up. But this Owen Cabell.
Yes, from North Nashville. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Christ Presbyterian, I think it is, the academy up there, who came in 6'3", 195. I know I saw some clips of his workout at Alabama. They clocked him at 4'4". He's been clocked at 10.7 in the 100 meters. I mean, he looked really good on in the workout. Now, where he would exactly fit in the pecking order, don't know. But there's some talk that Alabama will only take 2 receivers. But maybe they would take a guy like Cabell if they felt like, hey, he's a third guy we can develop for the future. So, we'll see. I don't know. Well, it's going to be interesting.
Well, be tuned to TiderInsider.com later today. Rodney telling us Samuel Utu could have his decision public today. Alabama thought to be the heavy favorite coming off of the official visit. But, Rodney, let everybody know how to follow you and all your coverage of Alabama recruiting.
Right. It's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check. Gives you all our premium information, but also it's our community there of Alabama fans. It's part of our package. It's really nonstop, the discussion that we have there on TiderInsider.com.
Thank you, Rodney.
Thanks, Rodney.
Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
All right, let's get a break in. Going to wrap up hour 1 from Bill Penney Toyota here next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. Trio to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, 7:54. On a Monday morning, getting ready to wrap up hour 1. It's really been a fast-moving hour.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Well, and we've, when you're not doing a show on Friday, you kind of have 3 days to 3 days to think about what you're doing.
Right.
And oh, by the way, we're not doing a show again this Friday. we're just gonna mail it in again, John. No show this Friday as well. We just decided we're deciding earlier and earlier in the week, but there will be no show for us again on Friday. So another 3 day week.
I can just say Willie Nelson on the road again because that's where I'll be. So
yeah, I'm really liking this not doing stuff on a Friday. So we'll just do it again on no show Friday.
I appreciate him sitting in for me tomorrow, but I'll just quote Lord Moulton, and he'll just say, "It's the summer.
It's June."
But of course, I don't know that they've had a drive on a Friday since November. We can go with gone till November once the football season, or not January, because really that's when football ends. I mean, January, college football.
And you look at it, we really only have, in the grand scheme of things, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more Fridays,
right,
until we hit Atlanta for SEC Media Days. And that's it. 5 more Fridays, and then we will be in Atlanta. In fact, we will get started on July 14th from Atlanta. That's where we will be on the first day for SEC Media Days. We'll set up on the 13th, and they're doing it different this year. There is no Radio Row anymore. It is gone. It is now digital. The digital drive. Yeah.
I've already gotten a text from an old time radio guy, and he says, I will never say digital drive. I will say Radio Row. That's what it's always been.
Well,
Radio Row has driven the event. He goes, they don't ever want to pay proper respect to radio, and now they're calling it digital drive.
It's digital drive, and the prices have gone up too.
Well, a shocker.
So you have, it used to be, and I don't know,
to buy a table,
and this is, I guess, I don't know, if this is too much information or not, but I want people to understand. Kind of what is behind the curtain, so to speak, when it comes to SEC Media Days. And it used to be you just had a table, and I want to say the table was what, $500 to $1,000,
and then
for a table,
and then potentially pay for Wi-Fi,
and that came with the Ethernet line, and you got all that, and for an extra little bit you got the Ethernet line, and that's what they did, and they sold, and they had, I don't know what, 100 tables maybe for Radio Row, and that's all. That is all that you had. Well, this year you start putting everything in, and you have to have a digital drive, and it is expensive to get the digital drive. When I was looking at it, I was like, what credential am I supposed to am I supposed to, fill in for a digital drive? And it's like, $8,000 to have a full set. If you want to have a set, it's like $8,000 for you to do it. And apparently that's what we're aiming for this year is to have a full set down there. But I mean, it's $5,000 for just a table. So the prices have gone up, and we don't get a hotel discount. If you want a hotel just to have a single occupancy double is $235 plus 16% tax and a $5 state fee.
We won't be doing that.
No, we're going to have a house. But still, though, I'm just saying, SEC Media Days gone, or just showing up, relaxing, and having fun for free.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The Atlanta Braves have Chris Sale on the mound today, $1.90 favorite against the Milwaukee Brewers, and Aaron Savali plus 160, 7.5 flat the total at American Family Field in Milwaukee. The Braves have lost 14 of their last 17 games. Scotty Scheffler plus 275 to win the 125th playing of the U.S. Open at the Oakmont Country Club outside of Pittsburgh. Rory McIlroy, who missed the cut of the RBC Canadian Open, is plus 850. Bryson DeChambeau is 9-1. NHL Stanley Cup Final Game 3 tonight. Florida $1.42 home ice favorite against Edmonton plus 120, 6.5 under the total. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. Their locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There we go. Click those buttons. Now you can hear us over the airwaves and the web and all that fun stuff. But we are back. It's hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond, welcome into the program. Coming up here in just a little bit, our good buddy Bryan Mathews will join us coming up in just a second. He, along with Jason Caldwell, I want to say it was 26 and 23 years respectively. I could be off on that, covering Auburn baseball. And unfortunately, it will not involve a trip to Omaha.
Right.
And we talked about it off the top of the show. Coastal Carolina comes in. They sweep that series in 2 games. Friday night's game was long. You throw in a rain delay. You don't start till 8. And I believe, after 12 before it all gets done, probably 1 o'clock before you even leave the ballpark a.m. And then you turn around and play again at 2 o'clock, I think, on Saturday. So it was a short turnaround for the Auburn Tigers, but they just come up short in that bid to get to Omaha. But it doesn't take away from a remarkable season for the Tigers down on the Plains and head coach Butch Thompson.
No, I mean, this was a remarkable turnaround. They did not make the NCAA tournament last year, much like UCLA. UCLA is going to Omaha, but they won 19 games a year ago, had the biggest increase at UCLA, and they finished off a really good Texas San Antonio team to get to Omaha. Auburn got to host their first super regional ever. The atmosphere was off the charts. Now, unfortunately, a rain delay happened in game 1, yet Auburn took advantage of it, got back in that game, and I'm telling you, we're inches away from winning it. It was really rather gut-wrenching if you watched it. Yesterday was a very well-pitched game. I just think overall, Coastal Carolina was underseeded, probably never should have been playing the Auburn Tigers, but still Butch Thompson and his squad, a great bounce back. Now they are losing McMurray. They are losing Ike Irish, very likely Ike to the draft. Hell of a player, almost a guy, or you could consider from the Mount Rushmore of Auburn baseball. But they've got a ton of young talent coming back. And as you mentioned at the start of the show, already reaping transfer portal benefits. And we're going to talk about that and more with our next guest. He and his buddy Jason Caldwell 25 and 27 years of straight of covering Auburn baseball, two of the best in the business. But Bryan Mathews is going to join us yet again. And he's since 2001 been with AuburnSports.com, part of the Rivals Network, and just had covered a heck of a year for Auburn baseball. Bryan, welcome back to the show, man. Good morning.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yep, 25 years, 27 years. That's a pretty long time for me and Cowboy to be in at Plainsman Park, but it's been a great ride. And I thought it was another really good season for Auburn. I know it was disappointing finish for a lot of people, not making it to Omaha, but made some history this season. Set attendance records, just about every weekend, and set another one in the regional and the super regional. That was impressive with the new expanded Plainsman Park. Hosted a super regional first time in program history, and that's significant because those super regionals have been around since 1999. So that was a big step forward. And they played 5 freshmen a significant portion of this season, and I think that's going to be the core of a really good team returning next year. So I think in a lot of ways this season can be a bounce back and a stepping stone forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Bryan, let's talk about it. Friday. If you want to talk about everything, Auburn. You come out, you start off slow, you get a rain delay, you come out of the rain delay, you look really good, look like you're going to be able to find a way to get game one. Then it goes extras, and then you come up short. A long day at the ballpark, a tough way to end game one. It kind of takes a little bit of wind out of those sails.
It did, and it ended about, I think, around 1:20 or so in the morning.
Right.
I got home around 2:30, so it was a quick turnaround for everybody involved, including the team, and yesterday. But, I look at that game, the first game, Auburn had, I think, 2 base runners on in the 9th and the 10th, that chance to win the game or take the lead or do some special things there, and they just couldn't get it done. And, you look at those 2 games combined, Auburn 5 of 35 with runners on base, 1 of 14 with runners in scoring position. That to me was the difference in the series. Coastal Carolina's pitching was elite. It was exactly what we thought it would be. They won in those big moments, and that really made the difference. They needed 6 pitchers basically to beat Auburn in 2 games, and they deserve a lot of credit. And I agree with you; they were a little bit under. They're much better than their 13 national ranking. Let's put it that way. I think they're a legitimate team. In the World Series with the chance to win for a second time.
Yeah, and then I was explaining to Scott, because I'll freely admit I didn't get back to the from the team camp at Alabama until late, but I got back in enough time to see the end of this ball game, and I was trying to watch it on my phone on the bus, and we had heard that Auburn was down 6-2. By the time I tuned in, I was able to watch Auburn tie the game, and when they tied it at 6, I really thought coming out of that rain delay that they had all the momentum. I thought Snow had a really good 2 days. He was scrappy. He hit the tying home run. And I just thought, okay, this is where Auburn's going to get over the hump. But I got to give the things I'd heard about Coastal all rang true. They just make plays, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. And Auburn had a couple of at-bats, Lucas Steele, where they hit line drives or soft line drives. But if either one of those find a hole, I think Auburn's going to win game one. But Barthol, the second baseman, made 2 really amazing plays to bail them out and get those double plays that really, I thought, broke Auburn's back in game one.
Yeah, both those innings ended on a diving. I think both of them were diving stops.
And then diving stops.
Doubling off the dude at second. So that's a tough break if you're Auburn, right?
Yeah.
But that happens. That's how Coastal Carolina is built. They're built with great pitching, great defense, taking advantage of other teams' mistakes. And, even though Auburn took advantage of some of their mistakes to get back in that game, it was still Coastal that, in the end made the plays to win it.
Yeah, and boy, what a difference a weekend makes. Drew and I were talked about it in hour 1. Bub Terrell,
we got a chance to meet him last week.
Unconscious in regional play, and and then this weekend, that's just kind of sums up how baseball works, though, right?
Right, things even up, right? He wasn't going to go. Was it 8 for 11 or
11?
Yeah, he wasn't going to do that again, most likely. If he did, well, that'd be good for Auburn, but. Things tend to even out. I thought Ike Irish, Eric Snow had good super regionals, but some other guys in that top 5 did not, and Bub was one of them. But that happens. It's just good quality pitching they're going against. I think Coastal's Friday night guy, who's just a sophomore, is a potential first-round pick. The Morrison kid who went yesterday, I think he's a junior, senior, but he's certainly going to get a chance to get drafted and make a move, toward the majors. So, and their bullpen is really, really good too. So, that they were quality, and look forward to seeing them. And I absolutely love their coach. He had some incredible things to say. We saw what happened a week earlier in Florida, and then had some great interviews with him talking about his dad, passing away. His dad, who was a mentor to him, passing away before he had a chance to get this job, and to be a head coach. And he talked about his son, who suffered some pretty severe illnesses last time they were going to Omaha, and he couldn't come, but they were determined to get him back this year, and he'll be there with them. So pretty heartwarming stories from the Coastal coach, who's in his first year.
Oh, no question. And I mean, they're a big time program, no doubt about it. And with Bub, we enjoyed him because he told us, he flat admitted it. He goes, man, I've never been so nervous in all my life. My first at bat in the regional, he goes, I was basically shaking. And he goes, and then I barreled up the first base hit. He goes, and then I just relaxed, and he's like, everything went his way. So but he's got a bright future, though. There's no question about that. Doing what he did as a freshman for Auburn, and he'll be there at least a couple more years, it looks like. And speaking of that, though, you can't rest. Butch Thompson already getting busy in the portal, even while they were still playing in the Supers.
Yeah, it's not necessarily fair to the team still playing now, but the portal opened June 2nd, which was last Monday, I believe, a week ago. So teams like Auburn had to, hit the portal and start making quick decisions, while also trying to prepare to take on a team with a chance to go to the College World Series. And Auburn has some success already. They've added 5 guys so far, 3 pitchers, and I think the guys that stand out are Drew Whalen from Western Kentucky, 9-3, 3.53 ERA, a right-hander. And then Jake Marciano, a left-hander from Virginia Tech. He was just a freshman this season, last year, just a few weeks ago. But he's 4-2 with a 6.08 ERA, but 71 strikeouts and 18 walks in 60 innings. So you can see that he is the guy with the potential to take a big step forward. They also got Garrett Brewer, a relief pitcher from Michigan State, another left-hander. You need those left-handers coming out of the bullpen. That's something Auburn didn't have enough of this year. And then I think everybody in Auburn is going to be excited to see Todd Clay return. He was Auburn High School standout, won a state championship with the Tigers, the high school Tigers, a few years ago, and had a terrific season at UAB. He'll be back as a third baseman, middle infielder. And then the Farber kid from where's he from? He's
Texas
from
State, I believe.
Texas State. Yeah, Ryan Farber, Texas State, shortstop. Really good glove there to compete.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Auburn was looking for a shortstop. So, and he had a really good year 2 years ago. This year, he slid a little bit, but he has talent and a lot of experience. And so I think that was big for Auburn.
It was, and they're going to look for another big left-handed bat to sort of replace Ike and Cooper McMurray, maybe an outfielder there. So that'll be a big area of need. And then if there's another really good pitcher they can get in, they're gonna take him, because you can never have enough pitching, as Coastal Carolina showed everybody this weekend.
Well, and you bring up Ike Irish and Bryan. We've talked about him numerous times this season. We visited with him 2 weeks ago as they were getting ready for regional play as well. The sad news is the loss to Coastal Carolina means he is done. His time is done in an Auburn uniform. Where do you put Ike? I mean, there have been so many great Auburn baseball players that have come through. Where do you pencil Ike in all of this?
Right up there. And he's got a chance to make that move, through the minors into the majors and be that next Auburn player to make it to the big leagues. Been a terrific player for Auburn for 3 years. Yeah, I think the thing that stands out most to me about Ike and Cooper is the decision they made last offseason. Auburn's coming off a tough year. They both have eligibility left. They both had offers and the opportunity to go elsewhere, probably make some more NIL money, and they came back because they wanted to make Auburn, bring Auburn back to where they thought it should be, and they absolutely did that. So they're going to miss out on that opportunity to play in Omaha, but they had terrific careers here at Auburn, and they're going to be a terrific young man, and we'll see how long they can go in the baseball world too. But both had outstanding Auburn careers.
Yeah, they really did, and they've got a chance to bring back some outstanding talent and be a highly ranked squad next year with this turnaround that they've had and the steps forward. But also, we talked about it with Rodney Orr before you came on. Alabama had another big recruiting weekend. Auburn had several official visitors on campus as well.
They did. I did not get over there Sunday. I needed some rest.
You were occupied.
But they did. I'll be honest with you. I love offensive tackles. Emmanuel Iheanacho, one of the best in the country, was over there. I don't know how good of a shot Auburn has with him. We'll just have to wait and see. He's from Bethesda, Maryland. He's like 6'7", 6'8", 340. One of those guys that is really athletic. But right now he's a national recruit. Oregon, LSU, I think, are his two leaders. He said Auburn was tied for Penn State for third. That's probably not the best place to be in recruiting, but I guess we'll see. It's not quite the same as it was. Auburn could come out with one of those big, what offers, and maybe move up that ladder a little bit. We'll see. But that's going to be a tough one. The running back out of Mississippi, Eric Perry, he named Auburn, his leader coming out of that visit. That's good. Auburn's got some good young backs coming back this year, even without Jarquez Hunter, but they're looking to continue to add to that. And, he would be a nice addition. Auburn went out and got Omar Mabson from Auburn High School, who reclassified from this class to the other class. So they got that guy already sorted from this class. So they just want another guy to sort of fill out that depth there. So he'd be a great addition to a guy to keep an eye on. Then another really talented guy, Marquez Daniels, a wide receiver out of Tuskegee. He's down to Florida and Auburn, and he was in Auburn this weekend. So he's one to keep a really close eye on.
Yeah, he's in their back door. So, a guy that Auburn would have a great shot with. But no question, and we'll continue, as Bryan said, continue to watch the transfer portal. The baseball one is open till July 1st, so Auburn could be in the mix to add another arm and maybe a big-time outfield bat. We will see. No doubt they've already added 5 big pieces, including, as he said, Todd Clay from UAB, who, by the way, was really good against Auburn this year. So he's going to be switching sides to, I guess, the team he grew up rooting for.
That's
so
right.
This big for him.
I believe he hit a home run and batted around 502 wins. You beat up Auburn twice this past season. So, a really good player. We'll see how he fits. You got Guevara coming back at third. You've got Rembert coming back at second. If Eric Snow elects to return, he could play short. So they're going to have to find a way to, compete or find a spot for him. But he's a really good bat, and I think a pretty good defensive player too. So I think they'll find some way for him to fit in.
No question. Well, Bryan, we always appreciate the intel and the time. A great year for Auburn baseball, just coming up just a tad short, but a bright future for Butch Thompson. And as he said, unique journey in his coaching career already with 5 additions, even though they were competing at Stevens Park this weekend in that super regional. But let everybody know how to follow auburnsports.com because there's still a lot going on the Plains.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And check us out, auburnsports.com. It's officially now the end of 24-25 and 25-26 about to kick off here. So it's football's up next, I guess you could say. And we'll have more coverage of that going forward, of course. And keep an eye on that portal. And you can follow me at auburnsports.com, socials, BMatAU. And please do give Uncle Keith's Red Sauce a try. They're going to sponsor my Monday Musings, which should be out here in the next 15, 20 minutes or so. Publix, Piggly Wiggly, Renfro statewide. You can order them online. Use BMAT15 for 15% off that online order.
Had some this weekend, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Y'all take care. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks.
Brian.
Bryan Mathews, kind enough to join us on a Monday. Let's get a break in. 2025 rolls on next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
It just works. Picture this. You're at home doing whatever it is you do. Then the power goes out. Then what? Well, at my house, life goes on. We have a Generac automatic home standby generator from Current Electrical and Generator Services. For your home security and peace of mind, get a free personal consultation on how a Generac automatic home standby generator can protect you. Current Electrical and Generator Services. Call or visit us on the web at HuntsvilleGenerators.com. You've got the power.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penney Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penney perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penney Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penney Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPenneyToyota.com. Bill Penney's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Listen to the Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long.
Swung on rocketed. Left center field. That's going to get down and go to the wall. Martinelli first. He's on his way to second. And he'll pull in. There's the first ever cycle in Trash Pandas history.
Trash Panda Baseball is only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the program. 8:24 on a Monday morning. We're live from Bill Penney Toyota. And big thanks to SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They did kick off hour number 2 with us. 256-881-51 to experience the SportsMed difference. Go ahead, give them a call. They can help you out as well. They are helping us again a week from today. We will have the Rocket City Awards inside Mars Music Hall. And make sure you stay with 97.7 ESPN The Zone, WHNT.com, as we will broadcast the awards over the airwaves that night on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And then WHNT.com will live stream the event from Mars Music Hall. And Drew, you will be there all fancied up. I will be there all fancied up. We're going to present some awards, going to eat some good food, and going to have a good time. Yeah.
Third straight year with no tie.
Oh.
Had to throw that in there.
Come on now. Just wear one.
Nah, forget it.
Maybe a bow tie.
Nah. Definitely not. Anything Andy Staples does, I puke.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay. So the big story over the weekend, and it really is kind of dizzying to speak.
Yeah.
But the House settlement did get passed.
It did.
It did get signed off by the judge. She signed off on it as expected. And what does it all mean for college athletics? I tell you, if I knew, I would tell you guys, and we would be able to sit here and tell you exactly what it all means for college athletics. But we can't. Here is what we do know, and here is what we can tell you for sure. $20.5 million. Okay, that is a revenue sharing cap that goes into effect on July 1st. It covers every sport under a school's athletic department umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
The most prominent football programs, though, are expected to use upwards of $15 million of that pool. Okay, yeah. So each school has $20.5 million to use at their disposal, however they want to use it, for whatever sport they want to use it, whatever. Football is expected to have a lot of it. There is going to be a new oversight arm. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago. It's going to be called the College Sports Commission.
Yeah.
The goal is any outside deal from collectives and other associated companies and organizations to reflect a valid business purpose. They are going to look over all of these collectives, and the deals have to meet a certain guideline. They have to fall within an approved range of compensation. They're going to establish a clearinghouse dubbed NIL Go.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to instruct athletes to self-report any third-party NIL deals worth of $600 or more. If that deal fails to meet a valid business purpose or fall within an approved range, it's going to be flagged, maybe adjusted or taken to arbitration. That is the goal, okay? Whether we get there, we don't know. But that is where we're headed. Like I said, there's so many tentacles and arms to all of this. It's hard to break it all down. It's hard to explain it all. But that is the best we could do in a nutshell.
Well, I mean, it's progress. I mean, it's been approved. It took a little longer than anticipated, but that's no surprise. But it's the first step in trying to get guardrails put up and get this stuff regulated. I know a lot of the Karens out there screaming lawsuit, all that kind of stuff. And there may be some of those, but again, this is a first step in some progress to where, collegiate athletics is changing a lot. I think, Greg Byrne and Alabama, they've been preparing for it in this way. And hopefully most athletic departments have been.
And they knew that there would be a July 1st start date to this. If it all went into effect, they knew it would start July 1st. So you're right. A lot of your Power 5 programs have been trending towards this. They've been preparing for this.
Yep.
The question is, though, is it going to work? Is it going to help? Is it going to stop this pay-for-play stuff that we have going on right now? That's one of the questions that a lot of people are asking.
Well, it's the first step in regulating that, and I think And of course, I still say the federal government's going to have to get involved in some way to stop the lawsuits and to stop some of the idiocy with, just going out. I mean, there was more of it this weekend. I mean, Justin LeBron, Alabama's shortstop, who is going to be a first-round pick next year, he is, as of now, he's not in the transfer portal. All indications are that he's going to return to Alabama for his third year, but there was, rumors running rampant that Tennessee. I got a text message from a very well-connected guy wanting to know if Tennessee was trying to, get in the back door with him because, Tony Vitello, he wouldn't do something unethical. But anyway, and then, and even Auburn was mentioned as being aggressive, toward Justin LeBron, LSU. I mean, these are some of these programs that value baseball and put a definite, priority to it. But again, the numbers they were throwing around, $2 million for 1 year, it's just insane. And that's why they're trying to, put up some guardrails on this stuff. No, I am not for the genie going back in the bottle and kids not getting paid, but it's some of the idiocy, the stupid stuff that there needs to be guardrails put up. And this settlement was the first, part of that. Now, the other thing people are concerned about are roster limits just because of student athletes. And we've already seen, some schools dropping programs.
Well, the SEC did put a cap on its track and field rosters.
Right.
That is one of the new things. They are going to limit their track and field rosters, I want to say, to 25. I don't know the exact number. But going forward, they are going to cap that.
Right.
So that is to your point. Yes.
Yeah, they're going to cap it. And then, and then Alabama has been active in the transfer portal in baseball too. And they got what was considered, and again, it's all subjective and things of that nature, but they got one of the preeminent bats in the transfer portal committed this weekend. But it was interesting because when they were able to get him committed, his name is Jake Osterhaus, and he came from Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, and he's still considered one of the better bats in the portal. But here's the interesting part. He's considered, one of the top bats in the portal, but he also is coming from Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, and they had to drop both baseball and softball because of this incoming changes, because some of these athletic departments, as we know, Scott, just cannot afford to continue to fund all the sports when you have to, go into revenue sharing, so to speak, which is what this is the first step into happening.
Now, schools can opt in or opt out.
Right.
If you opt out, then
and Justin over Osterhaus, pardon me.
Yeah, if you opt out, I mean, you don't have to pay. You don't have to do this, but you don't get any money either.
Yeah, you don't get the $20 million.
You don't get it if you opt out, and you don't get any future stuff either. Basically, it's one of those be dang if you do, dang if you don't type of situations.
I would say most just all are going to opt in.
Yes.
Because you would have to, because you want the money.
And so, okay, 8:32. Let's get a break in. When we come back, Ross Dellinger. There was some golf played yesterday with Donald Trump. Who played with Donald Trump and why should you even care? We'll explain.
Wasn't Elon. We can assure you that.
We'll explain it all. And we'll delve back into the Atlanta Braves as well. We've only just begun. And there was some NFL news over the weekend as well, if you really care. Yeah, apparently. We'll explain it all.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. The following liner is courtesy of Frank Caliendo. Check out Frank online at frankcaliendo.com.
Listen to the drive with Wes Neighbors. I mean, Wes played at Alabama and he worked on the sled. I mean, it all comes down to the sled. I mean, I love the sled. Wes knows what I'm talking about. But as for Steve, Steve, he's one of those guys. The only sled he knows about was the one on Snowy Hill. Boom.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penney Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penney perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penney Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penney Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPenneyToyota.com. Bill Penney's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The Tom Abraham Show, weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone, 8:36 on a Monday morning, 256-576-4977. Now's the time to get in on the program if you would like to do so. And I tell you what, and I did text him a couple times because I wanted to see what he was up to and if he had any time to join us, and that's our good friend Ross Dellinger.
Oh, yeah. He's a busy guy.
He has been a busy guy for Yahoo Sports because if you want to know, if you want to keep up to date on anything that's going on with this house settlement and college athletics and anything right now, Ross Dellinger, come on, his wife was working at the White House at one time as well. I mean, she still may be, but he is very well connected to all the players. And I've texted him a couple times, and he has not had any time to join us. He wants to. He's just not had any time to join us so far. But
yes,
he had so he put this out yesterday. That President Donald Trump played golf. And this will just stir up the controversy even more. But he hosted SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey and Notre Dame and Notre Dame's athletic director. They played golf at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster by the White House. The invitation was extended to them by the White House. Now, it was expected that they were going to discuss the future of college athletics and as Trump explores his involvement in a changing industry. So Greg Sankey playing golf with President Trump, trying to figure out everything that's going on in college athletics.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that threesome?
Oh, I don't know about it framed it like that. with the way things have been going lately.
I know. Well, yes, but the conversation on the course there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. To be a fly on the wall.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Yep. So it is now expected, as we mentioned, Power 4 schools will have 13 to 16 million from revenue sharing to spend on football in 2025. But the top college football budgets are expected to be anywhere between 25 and 30 million, and 40 million if you ask some in Austin, Texas, on how big their budgets are. But anyway, that's the big news.
That, even though the Cecil Herd of Texas says it's true. So. It sounds like they're trying to
irresponsible reporting there.
Well, yeah, they're just trying to take pressure off themselves because the only team that came through was softball, so everybody else choked.
All right, so the NFL news from over the weekend, in case you were living under a rock.
Oh, you mean Aaron Rodgers went to the Steelers?
Yeah. Oh my goodness!
How many months was that rumored?
Oh, what, 3?
I don't know.
4 months?
Really, since the Super Bowl came to an end, the Eagles won it. I mean, I think everybody had Aaron Rodgers going to either the Steelers or the Vikings, and it quickly kind of pivoted to the Steelers because, as we know, they had two QBs that they invested in last year. Russell Wilson will now start for the Giants this year, it looks like, and then Justin Fields is across the way at the quarterback in the other New York squad, which means his career's over, and that's with the New York Jets.
So Rodgers does indeed. He signs a 1-year, $13.65 million contract. It does include $10 million guaranteed and has a maximum value of $19.5 million. The deal also includes a $5.85 million worth of playtime and team performance incentives. So Aaron Rodgers, 1 year with the Steelers.
We'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. The 2 years with the Jets did not go as planned. He missed the majority of the first year due to that Achilles injury, and then, played decently for the Jets this year, but shocker, they weren't a good football team. Aaron Glenn taking over. They got a new general manager, and I was reading about his exit from the Jets. He met with the Jets before basically entering free agency, and they called the meeting contentious with Aaron Rodgers and the new brass of the Jets.
Right.
So,
right.
In other words, I think both parties were ready to move on. And Aaron Rodgers is, 40 years old. This is a 40-year-old dude. It's so funny, though, because I know he kind of felt like back in the day, Brett Favre was blocking his path to becoming the starter because Brett, took his time in deciding on if he was still going to play until the Packers finally just moved on from him. And we all know he went from the Jets to Minnesota. And Aaron Rodgers has done the same thing, though. He finally forced a trade from the Green Bay Packers
to the Jets.
He goes to the Jets just like Brett Favre, except for 2 years instead of 1. And then it would have been insane if he went to the freaking Vikings just like Brett. But
it would have been kind of funny, wouldn't it?
But he ends up with the Steelers. But it's kind of funny the way their career arcs have mirrored each other. Where Brett played into his 40s. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a guy that didn't miss a lot of time, was very, very durable. And until the torn Achilles, you could say the same thing for Aaron Rodgers. So, but it is kind of funny. I remember this, even though it was all with one organization with Dan Marino, things at the end of Marino's career fell off quickly. And we'll see, how Aaron Rodgers looks with the Steelers because, they haven't had any postseason success for a long time, since 2016, for an organization with their history and their consistency. And it's been, tough since Ben Roethlisberger retired for them to find the guy, and they haven't really been able to. I really didn't expect it to work out last year with either Fields or Russell Wilson. Russell, I think, is past his prime, and then Justin Fields, quite frankly, I've never been sold on.
He hasn't had a prime yet.
Yeah, that he would. It's still not done for him. He may catch fire and finally figure it out, but I have my doubts on that.
One of the reasons why I mean, Aaron Rodgers kind of like Pittsburgh was because Mike Tomlin was willing to wait for his timeline. This was all on Aaron Rodgers, and he felt comfortable.
Taking his time.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin was patient and never wavered and let him take his time. So, anyway.
Well, and then the Steelers organization is known for stability.
Yeah.
Ownership that sticks behind a coach. Like some of the stupidest things I heard all off season was, should the Steelers trade Mike Tomlin? And I'm sitting here thinking, what? Like, I understand they haven't won a Super Bowl in a while, but he has won a Super Bowl. So why are you even talking about moving on from him when he continues to win and make the playoffs? In the NFL, we all know what it is. You have to figure it out at quarterback. You have to find someone. Now, Aaron Rodgers is near the end, but maybe this will allow the Steelers to eventually draft that guy. We'll see. But I don't think the answer is, let's just go hire another coach and then the other coach will figure it out. No, you got to draft the player, but you need the coach. I'll be honest with you. If you didn't have a good coach right now, and they do have one in Mike Tomlin, the Steelers wouldn't be very good. They wouldn't even be making the playoffs. Okay. And you don't want to take that kind of step back, because the Steelers, I mean, let's be blunt, they have the best track record of hiring coaches probably of anyone in professional sports. When you talk about the long run of Chuck Noll, then to Bill Cowher, and then to Mike Tomlin, that's 3 Hall of Fame coaches in a row, and that's pretty significant.
All right, 8:45, I believe we can get our last break in now. And then when we come back, your tomorrow's headlines will wrap us all up next. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone, live from Bill Penney Toyota.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back. There we go. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the program. 8:50 on a Monday morning. And we touched on it briefly in hour number one, but the Atlanta Braves keep stumbling. You did have game 2 of the NBA Finals last night, and the Oklahoma City Thunder do even up the series with the Indiana Pacers as they take game 2 at home last night. Indiana, of course, taking game 1 in OKC. Game 2 goes the way of the Thunder, and we'll now shift scenes to Indianapolis. See if Indianapolis can protect home court there.
While we were in Tuscaloosa, we did watch the end of the game 1, and of course it was Tyrese Halliburton because the Thunder allowed the Pacers to hang around, and Halliburton's been doing that the whole postseason. They were doing a good job clamping him yesterday and really controlled that game from the jump. I mean, it was I was listening on my way home because we are carrying the NBA Finals on 97.7 The Zone, and I believe that it was a 21-point game at halftime. It was the OKC Thunder had it under control. Didn't really seem that it slipped from much in the second half, and they had to have that game after blowing game 1 on their home floor. You have to take one of those 2 games to get back in the series, and then still one in Indianapolis. Now, the Pacers still got to feel good because they took one of the 2 games, but I thought the OKC Thunder kind of flexed a little bit yesterday.
All right, so that's your NBA Finals. Oh, with Jason Kidd.
Yeah, the New York Knicks who
they
fired
need a head coach. Yeah, Tom Thibodeau.
In the last 25 years, they're interested in talking to the Mavericks. Jason Kidd. We'll see where that goes. But if I were Kidd, I'd stay as far away from the Knicks as possible. Especially if I was about to get Cooper Flag. So don't know that I'd want to be speaking to the New York losers.
Oh, all right. So the biggest question, and we did not get to ask this question in hour number 1.
Yeah.
Is it, as far as the Atlanta Braves go, is it Alex Anthopoulos or Brian Snitker that you take the most blame with, or is it just the underperforming talent that Atlanta has on this roster right now? We talked about the losing. We talked about the Craig Kimbrell situation. We talked some of the finer points of how this team is underperforming. But when something like this happens, the first thing we do, and fans and everybody else, they start putting blame to somebody. So somebody's going to take a blame for this. Someone's going to take a lot of heat for this. Is it the team themselves underperforming? Is it Alex Anthopoulos or is it Brian Snitker?
Well, it's just, look, man, Strider's been slow coming back from the arm injury, no question about it. Now Ronald Acuna's been pretty good since he came back from the knee injury, but he just kind of got off on that wrong foot with what happened with Jerickson Profar, the 3-year, $42 million deal, and you're talking about 4 games in or whatnot. He's suspended for 80 games because of performance-enhancing drugs. That certainly didn't help. And then sometimes you have these years where everybody pretty much underperforms, and you can say that right now. Matt Olson got on a little bit of a heater, but he's cooled off again. Drake Baldwin, who was Rookie of the Month, I believe in May, he's been really good. But other than that, you can't really look at someone and say, I mean, Ozzy Albies has had an off year. Right. I mean, Sean Murphy missed a significant amount of time with an injury, came back. Swung the bat okay for it at times, but then he's struggled. Money Mike has just been terrible at the plate. He just has not been able to get in any kind of rhythm or get it going. And left field's been kind of a revolving door, even though Eli has done some good things, and gotten some big hits early. But I just think right now it's just kind of been a lost season. I mean, they have had some good starting pitching at times, even with Strider with his slow start. But then this is the kind of year it's been. AJ Smith-Shawver, who we saw win and throw very well in that game, where shout out to Pilcher's Appraisals and Brandon Pilcher for hooking us up to go to that game against the Nationals. Right. But he's out for the year because he tore his arm up. And it looked like, as we had Bill Shanks on, that he was really going to get over the hump, and he was going to become a frontline starting pitcher, but then you lose him. And then the bullpen, for lack of a better term, has just been horrible. I mean, the back end, Raisel Iglesias, Dylan Lee, all these guys have just not been good. They have not been consistent. They've been up and down. That's why they signed Craig Kimbrell, and they decided to let him go, which it's still a little bit mystifying, especially since he had a shutout inning. But supposedly they want more long relief. I don't know, but it's hard to put a finger on. I've talked about some of the coaches that they've lost, the Ron Washingtons of the world, who moved on to manage the Angels. They decided to let go of Kevin Seitzer. Bill Shanks assured me that the loss of Seitzer he didn't think was the problem.
Right. He didn't think Ron Washington would be a problem either. I mean, he thought Ron, So, all right.
Really interesting.
Keep July 31st in the back of your mind. That's the Major League trade deadline, July 31st. So Braves have a little month and a half to figure something out before then. We'll be back in studio tomorrow. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy. Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's in his honor. She's on the honor roll. She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way. No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course. But it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars.